Good morning, everyone. I hope that you have brought your cup of coffee or your cold drink or whatever, because we do drink on screen. Uh, you know, some people are real rigid. We're real and raw. Okay. Uh, what you see is what you get. We are the Mavens of Motivation, and we're not trying to motivate you for perfection. We're trying to motivate you to be you and to be the best you that you can be. We have a great guest today. Her name is Yvonne, and we're so excited to talk to her. But first, I'm Henderson. I have Life by Design, and I help you to spiral up in life and make your life be the best version it can be, no matter where you are in life. And I've got my wonderful co-host here that's looking off screen. I don't know what's
I
going
know
on.
I was looking at something on my monitor. My monitor is on the side. So that's what
Oh,
it is.
I thought
So
maybe a
I'm back.
tornado was coming at your eventual office.
And the funny thing is, okay, I'm going to tell myself. How often I know I'm not the only one that all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, you're doing something. It's like people can see you. And yet for that split second of the moment, you totally forget that people can see you.
Yeah. 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 I do that driving in the car doing Zoom because well, Barbara and I Zoom all the time because I can tell if she's there or not. And I have a tower situation between here and town and a 45-minute drive. So we spend a lot of time there, but it's like, oh, okay.
And I tell you, and so like before we start any show, it's like, tell our face that you're happy because people see, and we totally forget that people can see us. They can see our facial expressions. They can see and I know for myself. Oh, by the way, I'm Barbara. I'm BarbaraEllison. I'm founder of Wellness Playroom for the best version of you. But I'm on a mission to make happiness the norm rather than the exception. And that's what kind of this show is about, is things that you can do to make your life better. And it doesn't really matter what age you are, where you are, whether it's in your life or in your business, in your relationships. And that's why we love to bring on guests who have a different perspective, who've had a different journey, who are going to maybe similar places and yet not the same places, because you know what, we cannot do life alone.
Mm-mm.
And
Virtually
so
or in person.
yeah, we so often, I think that's one of the biggest deceivers of the brethren, is that we're alone. No, oh, I'm the only one. And we have to get past that when we can share life, do life, we have to do life together.
Well, think about it. Even in the Bible, okay, y'all know I like to bring the Bible into it. Was it Elijah? It was either Elijah or Elisha. And he was going, oh, Lord, I'm the only one left out of
Yes.
all the prophets. Jezebel hates me. Da, 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 da.
He was sitting
And
under a
he says,
tree.
basically, get up, wash your face. I've got hundreds of others that you don't know about. And so, thankfully we're not in a cave all by ourselves, but we have the virtual world, and we have Zoom, and we have people that we know all around the world that we can collaborate with, that have a like outcome desire. They want to help people, and stuff. You can find your tribe. You can find your tribe locally, and you can find your tribe on uh, digitally, for lack of the right term. But you can find your tribe, and that's what this is about. Find your
And that's where Yvonne and I found each other, because we are in a group that we are all collaborating to build our local groups.
Yeah.
And so, Yvonne, welcome to the show. So, tell us about you and how you came to be doing what you're doing and why you're doing it, and what are you excited about in what you're doing?
Yeah, I'm really excited about my coaching that I'm doing with women. I'm a woman-centered transformational coach, really focusing on thriving beyond depression. something that, you talked about, you want to emphasize people and encourage people to be happy. And that's sort of what my blog is started out with, was really focusing on what is happy for people, helping people define that for themselves. Because everyone comes from a different place, and like you said, and gone through different things. And when you've gone through depression, there's different levels of depression. There's major depression. That's what I went through for a few years a while back. And I think women need that support to realize, if they've gone through therapy and they're stuck, which is where I ended up being, trying to figure out where I was going, what I wanted next. That's what I really want to help women with, helping them define that. Because so many times when talking with women that have gone through depression, they all know when you're in that pit, there is no dreaming. You're just trying to make it day to day.
Right.
So,
Right.
And
I
so,
think one of the things that I think is important that you mentioned was that that there's a difference between therapy and coaching.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is a huge distinction, because like for me, when I'm talking to somebody, they say, oh, well, I've been in therapy for years. Okay, fine. Now let's talk about where you were, what happened that you got there. Okay, but now that's done. We're not talking about that ever again. Well, maybe little bits, but we're not dwelling on that. Where do you want to be a month from now, or 6 months from now, a year from now, 10 years from now?
Exactly. We focus on the future versus when you're in the therapy, you're focusing on a lot of times what's caused the depression, and focusing on recovering from those things, whatever's triggering it.
So many times that therapy doesn't bring results. It just brings rehashing. If you're with a therapist that is just bringing rehashing, find a new therapist, because you want one that will bring results. And it doesn't have to be years of therapy to get free of your baggage.
Right.
I think I went through, I interviewed 4 therapists before I found the counselor that I actually worked with for a couple of years.
Yeah. And and the length of time depends on the depth of your depression or the depth of the trauma. But so much of it, in my opinion, can be drug out and out and out if all they're doing is taking you back through the mud. At some point, let's let the sunshine come out, drive that mud, and walk out of it. And yes, it may take some time, depending on how deep the mud is, but it is something that can be done. And I think that's where we come in working with women specifically, or women and men, in the helping them to see there is a brighter day out there. But if all you're doing is looking back at the mud and the rain, you don't ever see, hey, the sun, yes, there's clouds, there's deep, dark clouds here, but the sun's peeking out between the horizon and the clouds. Let's look at the sun. Let's let that sun do it.
Start the process. The process.
Right.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, I went through and got my master's in counseling, but I really ended up deciding not to go in that direction, because I didn't want to put people in a box and label them, because sometimes they get stuck there. And so, you need to be able to have a way out. Some people have to take the medication, which is required in imbalances, with their brain.
Right.
But then they still can find a way forward most of the time, to dream.
Yeah. And I think that's the biggest thing that you can ever say to somebody. Let's move forward.
Yes. And so
because
often
your windshield is so much bigger than your rear view mirror.
Exactly.
So much bigger.
Yeah. Well, and I just had this little word vision of somebody trying to back up the car, and they're looking in their rearview mirror and they're driving backwards, and the therapist doesn't let them turn around and drive forward or go put it in forward. It's like, So, but and so often things that do need medication for some time can be corrected with nutrition. And that's where I come
Exactly.
in. My claim to fame, I don't know that you know that, Yvonne, but my claim to fame is getting people off of their prescriptive medicines.
That's
And,
so awesome.
you know, I mean, we're talking lots of them. One gentleman was on 23 different prescriptions, some 8 a
Wow.
day. Some 2 of them were custom compounded to the tune of $1,000. So getting him off of that definitely brightened his day. And,
Yeah.
you know, it has a whole life change for him. So that's what, you know, that's
He's
the,
a different person.
yeah. Oh, yes. And the thing is yes, medication may be needed for some time, but so many of the medications that they put people on these days, long term. I mean, his little journey was 25, 30 years. But so many of them, it says do not take for long term, but they're still putting people
Right.
on it and refilling the prescriptions 10,
Yeah.
15, 20 years later, when it can be, it doesn't happen overnight like a prescription, because the prescription is a Band-Aid that just, it's a skin colored Band-Aid that covers up the sore, but the sore is still there. And so
So
it,
many,
go
yeah,
ahead.
they don't realize how much nutrition affects them.
Yeah. 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 It's so true. It's so true.
And which comes back to why we do these shows and why we bring different perspectives on.
Yeah.
Yvonne has had much different training, much different things that they went that you went to, depths of things that you went to that I have no concept of. I
Right.
remember one time a friend of mine who was going through really a depression, and I kind of looked at her and I said, I have no concept of being in such depth of despair. And she says, well, then she looks straight at me. She says, well, Barb, because you're depressed as everybody else is normal.
Ah.
I resemble.
I went here and I went, what? She said, you're always, I happen to be blessed with one of those that there was just, and yet I know when I am kind of like in a bit of, my house gets messy. So then it's like my house gets messy because I'm depressed, and I'm depressed because my house gets messy.
Oh yeah,
It's a
circle.
circle.
Yeah.
And then you're circling. And now it has been so wonderful to learn techniques from people like Yvonne to say, hey, you know what, Barbara, let's short circuit that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Short
Exactly.
circuit that so that you don't go on that black top of circle, 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 circle.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
important.
And you're so right. Different things trigger different people, and different things are symptoms, or, you have, your house gets messy, so then you're depressed and it goes in that circle. Other
Right.
people go on eating binges, so it's different things for different people. And the same thing is about the triggers. It's also the solutions, because not a meditation might work for one person while someone else has to go take a walk in nature or read something or do some incantations or affirmations. Different things are different, different solutions for every person. And that's, I think, what people tend to forget, is it's not just going to snap your fingers and it goes away.
It's not one size fits all at all.
Right.
And
Takes
that,
time to train.
yeah, that's why you want to work with someone who knows what they're doing, who has walked a path. You don't want somebody that, well, from my perspective, somebody that signed up with ABC Vitamin Company this week and all they know is that, and they're doing exactly what they say, and they don't know how to read labels. They don't know how to, what ingredients are good or bad or scientifically proven.
Right.
But because the company says this is good. And there's one that a friend of mine took, and I mean, the stuff in her little drink that she drank was horrific. For those of y'all that don't know, get off the artificial sweeteners. I mean, that's a big deal. That's a big thing that people can do quickly, easily, without a problem. But then, if that doesn't help, find somebody like Yvonne to walk you through, and then collaborate with somebody like Barbara and me and Yvonne to get the whole you. Your spirit, soul, and body. You are a triune being, and you've got to nurture all those things, or it's not going to be good in your life.
Right. And it doesn't all happen at once. I think that's
It's a
what
walk.
Yvonne says. It's like start somewhere, but start somewhere.
Yeah.
What do you want to work
It's
on?
just a
That's
step at a time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Write a list, and then pray about it, because what you see as a big thing may not be. Example, I had somebody at a product that I've used in the past, still do. I don't do just one product. I have a collaboration of products, but it was a particular drink. And a gentleman said, well, I kept walking and waiting because I had this pain. I wanted this pain to go away. Well, they had a heart cath and they were pretty well blocked. Okay. But it wasn't quite enough to go get it roto-rooted out or whatever. And so they started drinking this, but the pain didn't go away. The particular pain in their foot or whatever was still kind of bothering them. But they went back to the heart doctor for their next time. And that's the thing, nutritional things take time. Just like, getting a coach takes time. You're not going to call Yvonne up and tomorrow be a different person. It wouldn't be good for you. It wouldn't be good for the people that know you. So, but anyway, his heart cath was clean. He did not need to have his veins and arteries cleaned out because this particular product was cleaning him out. But he didn't know that that was a bigger deal than the pain in his foot. Now, the pain in the foot did finally go away, but what you're wanting may not be what your body or your mind or what your spirit or your soul need done right now. Just like somebody walks into church and they go, you have to quit smoking. Well, that may not be the biggest thing in their life. That may not be what God's worried about today. There may be way other things. There could be a trauma in their past life as a child or something that they need healed from, and the cigarettes will take care of themselves. But we tend to judge on what we see, and God says he looks at the heart, and he wants our best. He wants it. And so that's why a coach is a great thing to have. And I'm excited that you went the coach route as opposed to the counselor route, because you have more freedom to move where the people need to be, instead of, okay, here's your time, here's my money, here's a prescription. And I'm not saying all therapists do that, but a lot do.
So Yvonne, how do you, like, if somebody comes to you for the first time, how do you start them? Like, we want this to be like an informative so that people feel comfortable looking at different kinds of, treatments per se.
Yeah,
So,
I started them out with a 30-minute discovery call just to find out where they are, what they've worked doing, where they've been a little bit, to find out what they've tried, if they've worked with a therapist, if they've worked with other coaches, what's working for them now, where they're planning on going. Like, do they have a dream? Do they not have a dream? Where do we need to start?
right.
So, and then what do we need to start putting into practice, and just start gradually going through and ramping up? Because the idea is to make sure they have, starting with, mindset, habits, start working on exploring their social life and their ideas of what they want to pursue and learn about, to find out where their passion and dreams lie, and then create a path and an actions, a roadmap forward. So.
And one of the things that you just triggered me to think about, who are the people, or who are you surrounding yourself with?
Yes.
What are the people that you're surrounding yourself with? Are they contributing to your issues? Or are they supporting you to get past those issues?
Yeah, that's a big one.
And it just struck me when you just said,
yeah,
that's a huge thing. And so often people are intimidated by, oh, I'm going to have to get rid of all my friends. Well, you don't have to get rid of all your friends right away, but as you start to heal, I think, don't you find that as people start to heal, they start, oh, I don't want to be around that person because they're
Yeah.
negative.
Yeah, they have great boundaries and learn which people impact them negatively and which people really uplift them and support them. So it's and a lot of times when you're going through therapy, that's part of the thing they hopefully address is have someone that you can call. So you have your support system, and you know already a lot of times who the people are that you can call for just to listen to you or that are going to encourage you. So yeah, we work on that as well because you don't want to start bringing all the people back into your life that aren't going to
You're
support
going
you.
to have a pity party with.
Right. Right. Well, and I'm in the process right now because I have the long drive. I got Atomic Habits, on Audible and downloaded it to my phone so that I can listen when I don't have a tower. Read it in the past, but when you reread something or redo something, you're in a different place, so you hear different things. But something that they were saying just yesterday is in Vietnam, I think it was like, I don't remember my percentages. You'd have to look it up, but something like 80% of the guys did heroin. Now, a very large number, not all, but a large number of them became addicted to heroin while they were in Vietnam. But when they came back to the States, only 5% of them stayed addicted, because they changed. They were no longer with people doing it. They were no longer in trauma situation 24/7. They had their support team. So you've heard of people that have a problem, whether it's a drug problem or whatever, and they end up moving to another area to get away from those friends. And that may be something someone needs to do. And it doesn't matter if it's drugs or depression or what. You may need to move away, whether it's online, physically, whatever, away from the person that's abusing you, the person that's keeping you depressed, the job, whatever. That physical move can make a big difference in how you're handling things and what you're dealing with. But to me, I need to go back and not when I'm driving. Well, of course I do write when I'm driving, but listen again and write those statistics down, because they were pretty dynamic statistics of how people changed when they did come back.
Yeah. It just and don't be, and I think one of the biggest things too is that we think that it is so shameful to feel like you need to talk to somebody or to hire somebody. What do you mean I'm going to pay somebody to listen to me? Well, sometimes I think you just have to. Because when somebody is trained, they have a different perspective rather than just talking to somebody, as we said, that could be just a pity party.
Well, and so often those people are that you would choose to talk to are the same people that would keep you depressed, and they're comfortable with you being depressed. So it may not be a conscious thing, but they may want you to stay depressed. They may want you to stay needy, or whatever. I mean, think about your friends. Do they lift you up, or do they bring you down, or do they hold you where you are? Holding you where you are is just as bad as bringing you down, because y'all know I'm all about spiraling up. Today needs to be better than yesterday. Today's life needs to be better than last year.
And take it one day at a time. Yvonne, don't you think that just give yourself grace?
Yeah, you can't get from here to here. You have to have rungs of a ladder. And that's where Yvonne comes in. She helps you I just had a cool word picture of that. Yvonne helps you find the ladder and get it up against the right building, and then put your feet on the ladder. And if you don't know how to put your feet on the ladder, think about a little kid that's learning how to go up a slide, and you take their foot and put it on the next rung, and their foot and put it on the next rung. That's Yvonne. she helps you to put your foot on the next rung so you can get up there to the top of that ladder.
And you're holding on to the handles while you're doing it.
Mhm.
Yep.
That's a good work picture. I'll have to use that. Thank you.
I
I
get
would
those
say-
now and then.
True. But anyway, so Yvonne, any last words of wisdom that you would want to share with somebody? And then
I would say-
share with people how they can get in touch with you.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I would just say for people that have been through depression and are just lost trying to find their next steps, is go out and try things. Look up classes either online that you can take on Zoom to meet new people, networking online or locally. I started going to stores to do scrapbooking. I just went to a barn to start learning about horses. So just find something you want to learn about and go meet new people, expand your network that way. So, and you'll find that I think as you're growing and learning, you know, you'll find something that you are really passionate about. So, I have a website, thrivingbeyonddepression.com, and an email, Yvonne at thrivingbeyonddepression.com. And then I believe
Hold on. Thriving Beyond Depression. Okay.
Yes. THRIVING beyonddepression.com. And then I believe Carol and Barbara have a link to it's an ebook workbook combination that sort of asks you a bunch of questions to help you define your happiness and create your path forward. It's about crafting your vibrant life you want, that you love. So I hope you find it and take a trip through and take your next steps forward.
Wonderful. That sounds exciting. So that's your free gift to our listeners today? Okay. Y'all take advantage of any free gift you can get, because you never know which one's going to open the right door. And so definitely do that. If you're watching on Facebook, please click like and share this with your friends. If you're on YouTube, thumbs up, please, because that changes the algorithms. Hit subscribe and then ring the little bell so you get notified when we have new shows going up, because we do put them up and we do it regularly and we're so excited. So thank you so much, Yvonne. I can't wait for people to get to hear and see your show.
So anyways, everybody have a great week and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.